Welcome back to another week of Full Tuck, the Wingspan podcast with me, Aidan.
And me, Adam. How are you, Aidan?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking, mate. How are you doing?
I'm all right. It's a big week.
Yeah.
It's a very big week for Wingspan fans this week.
I know. You think how long we've waited since we've last had official Wingspan new cards released. It's been years, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of years, hasn't it?
It's crazy.
And we're getting 150 new ones this week. So
I know.
We're recording it before they're released.
We are, yes, but this will be released after the release.
Yeah, so people will be listening whilst, I don't know, maybe they've received their mini expansions, maybe they're in the post.
Yeah.
And I think maybe in the next few weeks we'll be talking a lot more about them.
I know. So what's which of the new packs are you going to buy first? What are you going to go for?
But I mean, they're probably going to be alphabetical order on the store. So
that's what you'll go for.
Well, all six, but the one which the one which starts with A or Asian avians. First. So that'll be first in the basket. But I think I'm just going to shuffle them all straight in, top of the deck. Yeah. Play through a few times.
Lovely.
What do you think you're going to do?
Yeah, 100%. I think a similar kind of thing. I am tempted to drip feed the packs in one by one.
Yeah.
Just to I don't know, extend the excitement a little bit. But I'll probably not be mature enough to do that.
I mean, this podcast, if anything, it has been so good for increasing the amount of games that I've played.
Yeah.
So I played one this week with Haz, and we wouldn't normally have played a game on Wingspan then, but Haz was like, I listened to the podcast and now I just really want to play a game.
I know.
If that makes more people want to play the game, then that's only a good thing for them. But also it's a good thing for us because we're playing a lot more.
Loads more.
Yeah. And so it's been really, really enjoyable, at least from that aspect, as well as just being able to chat rubbish.
100%. Well, it's like your chat about the campaign last week. It really, I've never tried a Wingspan campaign before.
Did you do it?
No. Well, we haven't, just because we ended up with a very busy weekend. But it's certainly we want to, and we're definitely going to crack that out over the next couple of weeks.
My mum is doing it right now with my brother. Yeah,
is she?
She's doing it
really
again.
Sweet.
Yeah, so she's
the listener, Adam's mum loves Wingspan. Absolutely loves it.
Yeah, she does.
She's really into it.
We'll get her on the show one day.
Yeah, we will.
And we'll see what see what she wants to what she wants to say. She'll be she'll be great content on the podcast. Maybe a special one day.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Yeah,
Good.
we get that.
So welcome to our new listeners as well. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you feel generous enough, leave us a review. That'd be very kind.
And let us know what your thoughts are. We love a bit of interaction.
Definitely.
We're loving some of the comments from some of you. It's
definitely
probably changing what we think about cards. And
I think that's actually one of the things we're going to cover today, isn't it? We're going to discuss a bit of fan feedback. And so if ever you got strong opinions on birds or disagreement with us, email in and we will discuss it. We'll discuss it, and then if we really fancy it, maybe one day we'll get you on if you really feel so strongly about it. So our email is fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com, or we take comments on any of the platforms, but if you want a long form, fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Right, as much as we want.
What else are we doing apart from that today?
So we're going to kick off as usual with our opening hand review from last week. I think a lot of you will agree an interesting one, and possibly one where there might be some split opinion. Lots of different ways you can play this opening hand, I think. So we're going to digest that, and then we are going to start to have a look at some of that fan feedback as we talked about, and some specific comments which have provoked some thought in us and have in fact led to our main segment this week, which is having a look at bonus cards from one of our comments, which we'll get onto a little bit later on.
And don't forget our bird of the week.
Couldn't ever forget the bird of the week, and we'll get onto that later.
Yeah, and then I think let's try and leave the fan-made expansions because we're going to cover them a lot, aren't we?
100%.
But if anyone can't wait, this week I watched an episode of The Mill. Do you know what The Mill is?
Yeah.
So The Mill is the Stonemaier-backed podcast which got on Travis this week as the fan coordinator. I think he was fan expansion coordinator is the title. And he spoke about the different packs. And what was really interesting was learning about how he decided who collaborated with him for each continent, what they did to turn the ideas into actual into production. So it's The Mill is what it's called. And you type in The Mill Wingspan, it will be there because it was released this week. We'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, cool.
Go and listen to it because also you get to see a few of the new birds in there as well. So it's a good little sneak peek into teaser into the extra birds. Cool. All right, with that all wrapped up, opening hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we go through this opening hand then?
Yeah, so a little reminder. Our opening hand this week was the Carolina Wren, which lives in the forest, eats a witchetty grub or a cherry, and has a white when played power, which is draw 2 cards, single point. Rock Pigeon, which lives in the grasslands, eats either a witchetty or a wheat, 0 points, and a stick nest. And when activated power, lay an egg. All players lay an egg, and you lay an additional egg. And then we've got the common Goldeneye, which can live in the forest or in the wetlands, eats a witchetty grub and a fish, and a teal round end power, lay 1 egg on this bird for each other bird with a cavity nest that you have. The Goldcrest, which lives in the forest, eats a witchetty grub, brown when activated power, discard 1 card from your hand if you do play another bird in your forest and pay its normal food and egg cost. And then finally the sacred Kingfisher, which can live anywhere, eats either a witchetty grub, a fish, or a rat, 0 point bird, cavity nest, 4 egg capacity, and then a predator pink once between turns power. When another player takes the gain food action, gain either a witchetty grub, a fish, or a rat from the bird feeder, if there is one at the end of their turn.
Great. Your bonus cards are Winter Feeder, which is food remaining in your supply at game end, and if you have 7 food, that's 7 points. And then Photographer, which is birds with colours in their names, and to get the high score on that one, you need 6 birds, which will get you 6 points. In the tray, there is Lewin's Honey Eater, which only lives in the forest. It costs a cherry and a nectar. It's worth 5 points. It's a bowl nest. It's a brown when activated power. When activated, choose 1 other player. You both gain 1 nectar from the supply. Next is the Desert Wheatear, which can only live in the grasslands. It costs a witchetty grub or a wheat. It's worth 2 points. It's a pebbles or stones nest. Brown when activated power. When activated, for each bird in your grasslands with an egg on it, roll any 1 dice, choose 1 type of food from that you rolled and gain 1 of that from the supply. And then lastly, Udin's Gull, which can only live in the wetlands. It costs a fish and an anything. It's worth 1 point. Pebbles Nest, brown when activated power. It's a flocking power. Draw 2 cards from the deck, tuck 1 behind this bird and keep the other.
And then we've got some end of round goals. So round 1 is Pebble Nest birds with eggs on them. Round 2, a Jacob Bruner special, which is total eggs. Round 3 is filled columns, and round 4 is brown powers.
Yeah, and it's a 2-player game.
It is.
And we're going second because we haven't done one on the card draw. Do you have thoughts, or do you want me to start?
Go on, kick us off.
I am keeping 4 birds today.
Wow, 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're assuming Udin's Skull is going.
Yeah, I think
don't you? If you were first in this game, you're probably just going to pick up Udin's Skull, aren't you? Because it gets you points and it gets you to see lots of birds. So.
And there's also you don't have in your hand another brown wetlands power.
Yes.
So it's a real.
I'm keeping everything apart from the Rock Pigeon.
Okay.
So I'm keeping the Carolina Wren, I'm keeping the common Goldeneye, I'm keeping the Goldcrest, and I'm keeping the Sacred Kingfisher. And my goal for the first round is Sacred Kingfisher out, probably my first go. So Sacred Kingfisher is pink once between turns. Now, I recognise that in a 2-player game, pink powers are not very powerful at all. But, I mean, if you play that first, even in a 2-player game, you know your opponent is going to get food 8 or 9 times in the game. So that's 8 or 9 free foods there. It also has a cavity nest, which is beneficial for the Goldeneye. So that's my first go, getting Sacred Kingfisher out. Second go is probably getting the common Goldeneye out, and I'm putting that in the water.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have enough food for that by that stage, but if not, I'll have to rejig my order around. And that's so that I can have free eggs. So the common Goldeneye is round end power, lay 1 egg on this bird for each other bird with a cavity nest that you have. And then I also want to get the Goldcrest out. So the Goldcrest is discard 1 card from your hand. If you do play another bird in your trees, play its normal food and egg cost. So quite quickly, I want to get those 3 out. That fills my first column.
Yeah.
And then what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to spend a go getting eggs and a go getting spare cards to throw away. And then I will then get food, activate the Goldcrest, throw away one of those spare cards that I've picked up, and then immediately play the Carolina Wren with that. By activating the Goldcrest, which is discard 1 card from your hand to play another bird in your trees. That bird would be the Carolina Wren, to then draw 2 more cards, which are eventually throwaway fodder.
Yeah.
So that means hopefully, and it might not happen, but in the 8 goes, I should have got out 4 birds. But importantly, 2 of those birds are also cavity nests, so I'll be getting 2 eggs on that common Goldeneye. So, I mean, for me, that's my game basically set up. And I've also got 2 birds which have colours in them, so that's then some at least partially way there on the photographer bonus. I mean, I don't score on the first end of round goal, which, as I previously said, is quite criminal in a 2-player game. But I've set myself up nicely to score well on the next 3. So that's my thoughts. Strong disagreements?
No, nothing strong. I think I agree. So I've been this opening hand has been really bugging me this week.
You've been losing sleep.
Just because I just think that, so the Sacred Kingfisher, for exactly the reasons you said, if it was a 3-player game or more, is the most no-brainer you can have.
Yeah,
you've got to get it down, and it can live anywhere, so it can get you up to that 2 resource gain on each of the chains, in any of those that you need them for. But it's slightly tricky in a 2-player game. I also think that if you play that early, your opponent could pick up the Desert Wheat Ear as a way of getting food without activating the game's food power.
That would be a very legitimate tactic. Exactly. And if the person did that, I'd say that's fair enough.
And that's one of the things that... and so I would almost be tempted to pick it up to avoid my opponent doing that.
That's interesting, because if you then did that, you'd then be able to control the bird feeder, like we spoke about a few episodes ago. Exactly. with the tit warbler. Brown tit warbler.
The white-browed tit warbler.
White-browed tit warbler.
White-browed tit warbler.
Yeah. Is it white or red-browed?
I think it's white.
Okay. You'd be able to control the bird feeder as well, which would really hamstring me, especially if I'm trying to activate this Goldcrest to always play extra birds. So that would be a very good tactic. But then presumably you'd then spend your first go picking up Udin's Gull. You'd spend your second go picking up the Desert Wheat Ear as well,
or chucking a nectar to get both at once.
But you wouldn't know that I've kept the Sacred Kingfisher. You are right, because I'm going second.
I quite like the Desert Wheat Ear. I think as a bird, if you have a grasslands chain going, you're getting eggs and food, and if you're already laying eggs, so by nature you're going to have multiple birds in your grasslands which have got...
I forgot how fun grassland chains are. So we played this game that we played this week with Haz. I made a grasslands chain, and I had one of the grasslands birds, which is from the Asia expansion, which is look at a bird from the deck. If its wingspan is less than 110, but you can do that 3 times to push your luck. One's Eurasian tree. What's it called? Yeah. And I had the golden eagle just in my opening hand. So I just made a grasslands chain. So much fun. Yeah. And because you really feel like you're gaining points the entire time, don't you? I know. And so I would like to go back to the original base game maybe one day, and we should have a game or two and with the original base game and just
see how it is
again.
That's true.
Sorry to distract you.
No, you're not at all. In short, I was torn. I think in reality, what I would do, given this hand, is I would probably end up keeping the common Goldeneye and the Sacred Kingfisher.
Yeah.
I think the common Goldeneye is a great bird, and we talked about him last week, didn't we? But in combination, I think it just about tips the balance in favour of keeping the Sacred Kingfisher, because it gets you that 1 egg per round extra on the Goldeneye.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's probably just about worth keeping him then.
Yeah.
And I would hope that my opponent wouldn't use that Desert Wheat Ear tactic, because he or she would pick up Udin's Gull, and as you said, would just stick with that. So I think that's probably what I'd do.
Just
those two, and
then does the Goldeneye go in the water and you basically go digging?
Yeah, I think so. And then I would hope to see what comes up and take from there. I would also, to be fair,
photographer bonus card.
I think photographer bonus card. I think if the Desert Wheat Ear stays where it is, I would be tempted to pick him up, because, as I said, he really sets up a grasslands chain. And if you look at both round 1 and 2 end of round goals, a grasslands chain and the Desert Wheat Ear.
Round 1 is rocks, nest birds with eggs on them, and round 2 is total eggs. So the Wheat Ear really suits you for both.
For both of those. So I would almost, and round 3 and 4 aren't really specific to birds, but like to any bird suiting them. But actually, it's not like the Wheat Ear doesn't suit those. Yeah. So I think it sets you off quite nicely.
Goldcrest.
Yeah.
Silver-backed tree creeper, or what?
Yes.
Is a
toe
tree
creeper.
No, Toad.
Yes.
Your encyclopedic knowledge has fallen short, finally. And the common moorhen, which is the water
the
equivalent. I can't say I've ever seen you play those birds.
No, do you know what? I think maybe I have played them in the past, and I think I've had experiences where I've played them and then ended up not activating them very much, just because you struggle to have that extra card or the extra food or extra egg, whatever it is, to activate them. I think it's quite tough.
It is.
I do agree, though. I actually, again, one of the things I thought about looking at this hand is if you have Udin's Gull, you're suddenly going to have spare cards, and therefore that Goldcrest is great. But going second, you can't guarantee that you'll have both the Goldcrest and Udin's Gull, and hence it's harder to keep it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, but I do agree. I think the Goldcrest is.
They take a lot of planning. I agree. It's not an ideal use for the Goldcrest, and ideally you'd have another bird in your trees, which allows you just to get free extra food.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have enough to do it every time. Plus, you'd then have spare food to play extra birds later on. But yeah, I've not really seen you play them before, to be honest with you.
I have seen you play them
a lot.
Yeah.
I quite like them.
Yeah,
I really do like them, especially
you?
in those higher player games where there's more free stuff floating around.
Yeah,
I think it's just a good way to fill your board quite quickly.
That's true.
And in a two-player game, I just feel two-player games are much more rushed than higher number games. Less free things floating around. You really got scarcity of resources, scarcity of goes. And so, And then actually, another note then. So Sacred Kingfisher, in a two-player game, we're still playing it, aren't we? Yeah?
I think so. It does seem that way, doesn't it?
The only other pink power I play in a two-player game would be the Spangled Drongo.
Yeah.
Spangled Drongo is a pink power when another person picks up a nectar. Gains a nectar, you gain a nectar.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't think I'd play any other pink powers in a two-player game.
I might be tempted to go for the European Goldfinch or the Snow Bunting, which are pink powers that you tuck either from your hand or from the deck when your opponent tucks. If my opponent played a strong tucking power, one where or they're clearly building a tuck chain. Where even if I play this pink power, they're still going to be using that tuck chain, and I'm going to hopefully get quite a few tucks through that mechanism.
But it's difficult because those ones you only play them a bit later on in the game, where you're not when you know that they've made the chain, and then you don't really get the benefit, and you can't really play them early because you're banking on them making the chain, aren't you? Whereas with the Sacred Kingfisher, they have to gain food at some point, don't they?
Yeah, or at least I think it's harder to get around it, isn't it? It's harder to get around playing food.
Yeah,
or getting food.
I would say it's one of my top 5 favourite birds in the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
I've never thought about ranking top 5 favourite birds, but I would say I just love it.
It's
on the box. It's on the box, isn't it? Of the Oceania expansion.
Yeah. What sets that one apart from other gain food pink powers for you?
Name other gain food pink powers. Oh, so
Eurasian Golden Oriole.
Yes, that's gain a witch tea or cherry, isn't it? From the bird feeder.
Yeah.
Name some other ones. I'm trying to think.
The Eurasian tree sparrow.
So that's just gain wheat from the bird feeder, isn't it? So I think with this one, there's a bit more flexibility. There's a witch tea rat or a fish from the bird feeder, which there always is one, isn't there?
Yeah, true.
I think with this bird, it can live anywhere as well, whereas those ones can only live in limited habitats. And I think it's so cheap to get out that with the other ones, you might have to spend a go picking it up, then you might have to spend a go getting the food to play it. Whereas with this, pretty much when you pick it up, you can always play it wherever, i.e. in the column with the least birds, and so you spend the least amount of eggs. And I just think the power is so, it gets activated so much, doesn't it? And it's a skull and crossbones power.
Yeah, really interesting that, really unique, having a skull and crossbones power for a power which other birds with essentially the same power don't have.
Yeah, so because when that one came out, so that really then upgraded the black vulture and the other
turkey vulture,
magpie. Sorry, my
name. No, it's black vulture and turkey vulture and blackbill magpie.
Yeah. So for the listener, they are pink power birds. That the pink power is when another player's skull and crossbone power succeeds, you gain one of anything from the bird feeder, and it's not at their turn end, is it? It's at that very point in time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So number one, you can scup at their mid-game go and get some nectar out, but if you think about it, if you've got quite a high player game, and let's say it's me, Aidan, and 2 other people, if Aidan has a Sacred Kingfisher, I have one of these two, so the black vulture, for example, if the other two players at any point gain food, Aidan's Sacred Kingfisher then activates, because the Sacred Kingfisher is when another player takes the gain food action, you gain something. So Aidan would get something from the bird feeder. But that Sacred Kingfisher is a skull and crossbones power, which would immediately then trigger my pink power. And so, and then I could get anything from the bird feeder.
I know.
And so you have quite a lot of control over the bird feeder, but you're getting so much free food, of which it often is nectar with the Oceania game.
Yeah.
And that is when when half of the players gain food, I'm just getting a free nectar or free something. So it made those birds so powerful in those high player games.
It's a brilliant combination, that. Really cool, really interesting.
Yeah.
And we've had some thoughts from you guys as well about this opening hand. So thank you guys for writing in on Spotify. So we've had Paul, who's gone with the Winter Feeder bonus card. So that's the one where you've got food remaining at the end of the game. He's also keeping the Sacred Kingfisher and the Goldeneye and the Goldcrest.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's basically done what I would do, but I've also kept the Carolina Wren.
Yeah. And I can see why, it's another cavity nest.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was considering not keeping it, but I think I only kept it because it was a cavity nest. Yeah. But then he's basically said if both are still there, I'm using the nectar to collect the wheat ear and Udin skull. So very much on the same. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength, aren't we? So yeah, that's good to know that we're on similar wavelengths.
I do have to say, on the topic of Paul writing in, he's made me promise to say this on air, but I've had an online game going with Paul pretty much back to back for a few weeks now, and he beat me the last two in a row. Okay. So he wanted me to make a point out. So well done, Paul.
Congratulations,
two
Paul.
Excellent performances.
Well done, Paul. And with choices like that in the opening hand, I'm barely surprised.
Yeah, I know.
This man knows what he's talking about. He knows how to start an opening hand.
Right, lovely. Another excellent opening hand review. So yeah, a really good one actually. There's so many different things we've spoken about in that. As a really cool one. Hopefully this week's will be just as interesting.
Okay, welcome back to Full Tuck, the Wingspan podcast, and we are going to talk about our bird of the week this week. And our bird of the week this week is, drumroll please. Actually, no, don't. The drumroll might ruin the microphone sound. So no drumroll, please. Drumroll in your heads or in the car, whatever you're doing. The Pileated Woodpecker. Pileated, I think. Do we think so? Pileated. So actually, we're not bird watchers, me or Aidan.
No, we're not twitchers.
We're twitchers, is what it is. We got into this game because we like board games.
Yeah.
And the birds are very pretty, but we know lots of players are actual bird watchers. So if we pronounce birds wrong, please tell us, because we genuinely have no idea.
I am certain we get a lot of them wrong.
Yeah, and one of the things, actually, harking back to the Mill podcast this week, Travis is a twitcher, and he knows a lot about birds. And what was so interesting was hearing how he spoke about how the powers were created from the bird's real life behaviour. And I know we've spoken about it in the past a little bit, but maybe in the next few weeks we can maybe drip feed a few more of those things.
That'd be great.
And they are lifted straight from Travis, so they're not my original content, but it's just really, I think it's worth sharing with people to show how.
Yeah, cool. No, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do the Pileated Woodpecker, and I don't actually have the Pileated Woodpecker in front of me, but Aidan has just said that he could just rattle it off by heart what it is. So I'm just going to quickly get up the Pileated Woodpecker on Google. Meanwhile, Aidan tells us what the Pileated Woodpecker is, and I will chime in if there's anything wrong.
Fine. So I might be wrong here. So please forgive me if I am. But the Pileated Woodpecker lives in the forest. It costs a witchetty grub and a cherry. It has 4 bird points associated, and it has a cavity nest with 2 egg capacity.
It's all right so far.
And that cavity nest is important because it's got a brown when activated power. When activated, all players lay an egg on a cavity nest bird. You may lay an egg on 1 additional cavity nest bird.
Exactly.
And
Wingspan? Go on.
It's got to be 74? That's a guess.
Bang on. It's bang on.
No way. Really?
Bang on. It's 74. Fair enough. He's back. Cool. The encyclopedic knowledge is back. That is
back,
incredible.
Baby. Might mispronounce it, but I know the Wingspan.
The Wingspan. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a cool bird. I think it's base game, right? I think.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
I think it's a bit of a cult bird, right? Because it's one of these incredibly strong
cult bird. Yeah,
it is. It's like one of these incredibly strong powers because you're getting not just, eggs in a non-grasslands habitat, but you're getting 2 eggs in a non-grasslands habitat.
Provided you have a second bird.
Exactly.
And now that is an error that people do make. I've definitely went to begin, and it's very clear that it says 1 additional bird.
Yeah,
and so you do need to get a second cavity nest bird out, which most of them do live in the trees, and so you don't really get a benefit.
It's not always straightforward.
Yeah. The reason I like this bird is obviously, it gets you eggs in the trees, which speeds up your game immeasurably. And for me, if there was... Wingspan is all about getting a different resource than the chain you're activating, isn't it? So if you're picking up bird cards, it's about, can you also get food or eggs in that chain? If you're activating the grasslands, can you also get food or cards in that chain? Yeah. If you're activating the trees, can you get eggs or cards in that chain? And so the birds which allow you to do that are the most powerful. But my favourite of those delineations, or whatever you want to call it, is getting eggs when you're activating the trees. I don't know why, but it's the one to me that feels the most valuable. If I'm getting eggs when I'm picking up cards, I don't find that valuable. If I'm getting food when I'm activating the grasslands, I don't find that valuable. But getting eggs when I'm in the trees really feels like a cheat code to me. I don't know why. But yeah, the reason I like it is because when you play it early, most people won't have a Canada nest out as well. And so it makes it even more powerful, because you'll probably have 2 Canada nests by then, and your other players won't have any. And so they'll be scrambling, trying to change their game plan to get a Canada nest out. Meanwhile, you'll be smugly getting 2 eggs at a time, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you can engineer it like that, then it's seriously powerful, isn't it? I suppose the flip side of that, though, is that if I'm playing Wingspan and my opponent plays a Pileated Woodpecker and I do have a cavity nest out, I don't hate that.
No, of course not. Free food, I don't hate that at all. But interestingly, we speak about the birds that I most love seeing people play. And I'd love it if someone plays a Savvy's Warbler, okay? Jack walks in, right? And I know I've got Savvy's Warbler coming in, okay? I love it if that happens. But if I see someone play the Pileated Woodpecker, I don't actually love it that much, because I do think the benefit for the person who's played it is much greater than it is for me. And so it goes to show that the all players benefit there is not that huge, is it?
Yeah, and I suppose also it's... you need eggs. Eggs are a facilitator to you playing birds in the game, almost primarily, as well as being a point. So you can't rely on when you're going to get gifted one. So just because you're going to get gifted an occasional egg doesn't mean it's necessarily going to save you a go, or it's going to fit into the timing of what you're planning to do, because it won't always.
And I think in base game it is incredibly strong, because people tend to have spare eggs floating around in the base game, don't they? Whereas as you add more expansions, you have less eggs floating around. And so I was going to say that the bird gets weakened as you build more expansions in. But actually I'd say it probably stays the same, because everyone has less eggs. So you getting 2 eggs is more beneficial. And so the fact that everyone else is also getting an egg, it cancels out the fact that you're getting 2 eggs. So I wouldn't say it's got weakened as the expansions go on. No, I don't think so.
And I actually think as well, it's it really combines with a few other birds to make some seriously powerful combinations. So, for example, the wood duck and the Pileated Woodpecker in the forest together. So you're getting, the wood duck is another brown power, but this time it's draw 2 cards and discard 1. And it's the only one that can do that in the forest. The rest of those birds with that power all live in the wetlands. So it's that in combination with the Pileated Woodpecker is gaining food and eggs. The wood duck has a cavity nest, so you can lay on it with the Pileated Woodpecker, and it has 4 egg capacity, so you can lay on it quite a few times with the Pileated Woodpecker, and it's getting you cards. The other combination I've seen is the Pileated Woodpecker and the Great Tit, which is one that allows you to reset the bird feeder and gain another food. But again, cavity nest, and this time has 6 egg capacity.
So I do think the origin, and correct me listeners if I'm wrong, the origin of the phrase going full tuck used to be you have a chain which gets you all 3 things, and it was predominantly used for in the water. So if you have a water chain which allows you to tuck cards, get eggs and get food. I do think that was what the origin of the phrase going full tuck was. It has now become basically making a chain which is just crazy tucking, isn't it? Because there's an achievement on the app, isn't there, called going full tuck?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's just called full tuck.
And it's got, is it a certain number of tuck cards? I think so.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I think it's changed a little bit over time, but I think that's what originally our name for our podcast was. It was about getting all three things in one chain, which that allows you to do.
It does, yeah.
The woodpecker allows you to do.
So a great bird, and definitely one where if I find it in my opening hand, I'm snapping that right up.
It's first on the list, opening hand, because I play it early as well.
Yeah.
No one else has Canada nest birds. Yeah, it's a Canada.
Canada
cavity nest.
Yeah.
It's just not a Canada nest at all, is it? It's just not a Canada flag at all.
I know. It's interesting that's become, again, some of the listeners might not be aware.
Really sorry about that to our Canadian listeners, because it is completely insulting to the flag, isn't it?
It is. But yeah, there you go. So another cool bird of the week, and do let us know if you've. I imagine the consensus is this is a pretty good bird, but if you disagree, let us know.
Yeah.
Or if you've had
I think we'd rather be talking about controversial birds, or birds where we clearly differ with the main group thought, and which is actually what's going to take us on to our next thing. But yeah, let us know if you do disagree in particular, but also if you agree. Yeah, we like echo chambers.
Yeah, and the boosts our ego.
Fine, but with that, shall we move on to a bird that has actually split opinion?
Yeah, let's do this.
This fan feedback that we said we'd talk about this week, and thank you people for writing in. It really means a lot. So our email is fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com if you want to write in, because we do read them and we do reply to most people, especially when people email in to tell us that they've just won 5 games in a row against Aidan. That was one of our emails this week. So yeah, you know who you are. Yeah. And so if you're playing against Aidan and you want to tell us that you're beating him, more than welcome.
I think the evidence from today's episode is that I'm not a very good Wingspan player, which is really damning.
Aidan does win some games of Wingspan, yeah, he does, and obviously he has an encyclopedic knowledge of the game. Yeah, there is no two ways around that about Aidan. Indeed. So yeah, that's what he brings to the table.
So on the note of fan feedback, we've had some opinions coming in about last week's episode. So last week, for those who didn't manage to tune in yet, we had a deep dive into our bird of the week, which was the Australian magpie.
Yeah, because it was in the opening tray, wasn't it? And no one picked it up. Interestingly, neither you nor me, and no one who wrote in picked it up. Yeah. But we wanted to talk about it because, according to the Monster Couch report, which was data from over 500,000 Wingspan games, so a good database, out of all the birds in the Oceania expansion, it was the bird with the 5th highest win percentage. Yeah. And we were both shocked by that, and we thought everyone else would be shocked by that because no one picked it up from the tray. Yeah. But then we said it on the podcast last week that both of us thought we were quite surprised, and we don't really rate it as a bird because, well, you can listen to last week's episode, but long story short, we thought the most it would get you is 6 extra points, didn't we? And that would be with some decent planning involved. But I think we got roundly criticised. Yeah,
it does seem that way. And you know what? I'm quite happy to be wrong on this.
Definitely.
And to take on the learning that actually maybe I should be paying a bit more attention to this bird when it appears.
Well, mate, if anything this week has taught us is that you have a lot of learning to do when it comes to Wingspan tactics.
I really need to get back on the winning train. So again, a very brief reminder. This is a bird with a game end power. Which is quite a unique one where you discard an egg from each bird in the row and column that this bird finds itself in, and for each egg you discard you cash 2 wheats on this bird. So if you have a full row and column that the Australian magpie is in, then that's a maximum of 6 eggs that you can discard, and therefore 12 wheats, and therefore a net gain of 6 points.
Right, he just did that off the cuff. What's the wingspan of this one? I've just got it up in front of me.
I think it's quite big, isn't it? It's over 100. My guess would be 125.
75.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
it's not as big as I thought.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That's a very difficult one, especially if you never play the bird.
It has an aura of a big bird.
So obviously, let's not relitigate the stuff that we said last week. Yeah, but have you got... Well, so Paul emailed in and basically told us actually, Diane said, I like the Australian magpie. I just played a game where I had the magpie and the kakapo and got 8 points from each in the last round.
Yeah, sounds like a solid game.
And we did, it sounds like a solid game. And the kakapo is another game and power, which is game end, draw 4 bonus cards and keep one of them. And I think we compared it to the Kakapo last week and said that we would 100 times out of 100 take the Kakapo over the Australian Magpie at any point in the game. And obviously Diane disagreed with us, and Paul has disagreed with us as well. Said, I'm going to ruffle a few feathers and say that I don't like the Kakapo.
Yeah.
That's going to need some talking about.
Yeah, well.
I'd rather have the Australian Magpie than the Kakapo. And the reason is really interesting. I just feel you spend most of the game making your first bonus card and any others you pick up work. That when the Kakapo gives you a bonus card at the end, nothing really works for what's offered, which is interesting. Whereas I think we're of the opinion that if you pick up 4 bonus cards, one of them's probably going to get you at least 3 or 4 points. And that's probably how much the Australian Magpie would get for you, isn't it?
I suppose the other way of looking at it is, because you're absolutely right, instinctively, given a choice between the two to play with, your last go of the game, I think even if I found myself in a situation where I could play the Australian Magpie with full rows and columns, with its row and column being full of eggs, so that I could maximise its power, or playing the Kakapo, I would still go for the Kakapo. And I guess that's because, I don't know, maybe we value bonus cards higher than we should. But it just feels like a very powerful card to me.
Have you heard of the phrase, 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush?
Yeah, and
that's
I
what
guess
they're subscribing to.
I think that's what they're saying, isn't it? Is actually...
They know how many points you're going to get from that Magpie.
And your Kakapo it's a roll of the dice. You don't actually know what bonus cards you're going to pick up.
Especially when a significant number of the bonus cards in the deck now are birds with ascending or ascending wingspans, bird with ascending or descending scores, which if you pick that up randomly, almost no chance you're getting anything more than 3 points on.
I know. And I think Paul makes a really good point here, which is that, it is complete. You're never going to be able to aim towards any of those bonus cards that you pick up because it's a game end power. And also, it's a 4-point bird. It's not like it's a high point bird. So maybe we do overvalue it, and maybe it's not actually as strong as we thought. This also got me thinking about bonus cards more generally. Yeah. And when is the best time to play them in a game? I think, I don't know what you think, but I suppose I do from playing a number of games with you, but I think we both probably tend to play them later in the game rather than earlier. And I think that is generally how we do it. I don't have the stats to back I don't have the stats to back that up. But that's probably what I tend to. And I think that's generally when I've seen you do it as well, generally. But I think, now I think about it, and I guess Paul makes the point of, well, what is better value? Is it better to have 2 bonus cards in front of you and choose which suit the board that you happen to have already built better, or to have them in round 1 and aim towards them with the stuff that you play and target them? Yeah. Which is more powerful? I don't know the answer, to be honest. I don't know what the answer is.
Maybe it's a question we should put to our resident stats man.
Ah, there you go. Or maybe we should.
Actually, he's not our resident stats man. But
we've given him that title without any kind of consent.
I would play them at any point in the game. For me, there's no bad time to play a bonus card. You start, middle, end, doesn't matter. Yeah. I think, but the only reason I wouldn't play one at the end is if I'm building a decent chain. If I've got a chain, I tend to forget about bonus cards because... Really, for bonus cards to work, you need to have multiple birds out, 10 to 12. And if you're building a chain, you're not going to have 10 to 12 birds out. So I tend not to bother with it. But otherwise, I play it any point in the game, realistically, I think I'd say. And so with the Kakapo as well, let's ask you a different question about the Kakapo.
Go on.
If the Kakapo was a when played now power...
Okay.
Pick up 4 bonus cards and discard one of them. Do you think it would be a better bird?
I think so.
Probably would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so, because then at least you've got a chance to, if you picked up 4 and say, you've not got one that's immediately perfect for you, you've got a chance to do something about it, which is interesting. So yeah. It really has changed my thoughts on bonus cards and how we use them, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, it
interesting.
Really has.
I would still always play the Kakapo. I think it's a fantastic bird, and I'd play it first round or last round, which is interesting. It sounds as if some people wouldn't even play it if it was in their opening hand. If it was in my opening hand, I'd keep it.
Yeah, I think
it's worth. It's definitely worth investing in for the long game, because especially as it's 4 points as well. So my bonus cards I play whenever. I think if I'm in the final round, the one thing I do is I try and play my bonus cards on my very last go rather than early on in the round, which is probably a mistake. You should be playing them earlier in that final round so that you can do something about it. And so that's maybe an error on my part. I always try and tend to play them late because I like that big hey-ya final go.
Yeah, me too.
Playing a big point bird dump with 2 bonus cards. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? Write in, listeners, if you strongly agree or disagree with us. Or if you think anything at all about it.
No, yeah, definitely. Let us know what you do about it. And, if are you the kind of player who tends to maybe even avoid bonus cards at the end of the game because you think it's harder to aim for them? Just let us know.
When we get my mum on, we should talk about bonus cards because mum's got a real love-hate relationship with them. She always gets them and she goes, I always told myself last time I am never going to get bonus cards again. And then she plays like the Greater Prairie Chicken or something. And then she goes, what did you tell yourself last time? You told yourself not to play bonus cards and now you've just played one. Yeah, so
they're just too tempting, aren't they?
They are so tempting, yeah. And these new mini expansions look like they do some really spicy things with bonus cards.
Yeah, which is cool.
So we are going to be coming back to that in the next few weeks, I reckon.
Get ready, listener.
Okay. Quick break, come back, opening hand review.
For episode 9.
Is that episode 9?
Next time, yeah.
It is. Okay, see you in a minute, listener. Right, welcome back to Full Tuck, the Wingspan podcast. And we've just gone downstairs and drawn a random opening hand.
Yeah.
And it's a good one, isn't it?
It's a really good one.
I can't believe it. So we are playing a 3-player game this week, and we are going first.
Yeah.
And your first card in your hand is the Black Red Star. This can only live in the grasslands. It costs a witch grub and a wheat and a cherry. It's worth 0 points. It's a star nest with 4 eggs. Teal, round end power. Choose a habitat with no eggs. Lay 1 egg on each bird in this habitat. Second bird, Australian owlet nightjar. This can live anywhere. It costs a witch grub or a rat. It is worth 2 points and it's a cavity nest. It can hold 2 eggs. Pink, once between turns power. When another player takes the gain food action, gain 1 witch grub from the bird feeder if there is one at the end of their turn. Third bird, the yellow hammer. This can live in the grasslands or the trees. It costs 2 wheats, 2 points. It's a rock's nest, 3 egg capacity. Round end power. If you used all 4 types of actions this round, play another bird, pay its normal food and egg cost. Fourth bird, pheasant cuckoo. This can only live in the grasslands. It costs a witch grub and a rat. 1 point. It's a rock's nest with 4 egg capacity. Once between turns, when another player takes the lay eggs action, lay 1 egg on this bird. And fifth, green pygmy goose. It can only live in the water. It costs 2 wheats. It's worth 4 points. It's a cavity nest with 4 egg capacity. And it's brown when activated power. When activated, draw 2 cards from the deck, keep 1 and give 1 to another player.
And then we've got some bonus cards. So the wetland scientist, which is birds that can only live in the wetlands. 3 to 4 birds is 3 points and 5 birds is 7 points. And the rodentologist, which is birds that eat rats. 2 points per bird.
And then in the tray is the wood stork, which can only live in the water. It costs a fish, a rat, and an anything. It's worth 6 points. It's a platform nest. It's got 2 egg capacity. It's a when played power. Draw 2 bonus cards and keep 1 of them. Second in the tray, Moltoni's warbler, only lives in the fire. It costs a witch grub and a cherry, worth 3 points. Bowl nest, 2 egg capacity. Teal, round end power. If you used all 4 types of actions this round, play another bird, pay its normal food cost. And then third is the silver eye. This can live anywhere. It costs a witch grub and a nectar. It is worth 4 points. It's a bowl nest with 4 egg capacity. Brown when activated power. All players gain 1 nectar from the supply.
And then some end of round goals. So we've got birds that live in the forest for round 1. For round 2, it's cards in hand. Round 3, it's bowl nest birds with eggs on them, and round 4 it's filled columns.
Great. So write in, comment. We are fulltuckpodcast@gmail.com, and like and subscribe, guys, so you get notifications about our show. And it helps us to grow as well. Thank you as ever for listening. We are very grateful for your support.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed this week, and you've enjoyed some of our commentary, and hopefully maybe you agree with some of it if you don't disagree with all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Have a great week, guys. Enjoy the mini expansions. We will see you next week.
See you very soon.
Bye-bye.